Oh man, I just realized little Predcast logo isn't in the corner. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Predcast, episode number 59. Totally didn't look over and read that. And we got the one and only legend, RGSA's here with us. We'll get to him in just a second. We're going to do our quick little introductions. I want to kind of set the stage for everybody watching also. For those of you that don't know, RGSA's does come on the Predcast periodically, but there are a lot of new faces here in the community with open beta, the great success, a lot of new players here. So we're going to do a little bit of an introduction here towards the beginning, keep it a little bit more simpler for the newer players, and then we're going to get into harder hitting questions as the show goes on. So everybody in the chat, if y'all are spamming your favorite question for the first 5 minutes, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But let's get to our intros. Let's go ahead and let's do Robbie, then F6, then Pinzo, and then Bearded, and then myself. Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. I'm Robbie, founder and CEO of Meta Studios. Some of you guys may know me as RGS Ace.
All right.
Nice and to the point. I like it. I'm going to do the same here. My name is F6. You guys see me plenty of times, but I do casting over at the PCC, and I stream every now and again, running it down in off lane, hoping for the best. Other than that, yeah.
Running it down is right when it comes to F6, honestly. He just like me, for real, honest, on God. Yeah, I'm Pinzo. I stream, I make YouTube, I play PCC, all that kind of stuff. You can catch me here on Predcast as well.
What's going on, everybody? Is I, the Big Wolverine, your Michigan Wonder. Very excited to have this episode and talk to Robbie. I can't wait to get into it. So on that note, Windu, who are you?
Bro, these intros are way shorter than what I'm used to. This is wild. What's up, guys? I'm Windu, also known as Windu the Mace. Pretty much do predecessor content, even though as of lately I've been focusing on my own business thing. But yeah, I love this game. I love this community, and we're gonna get right into some of these subjects. Actually, Bearded, why don't you take off what we're gonna start it off here with Robbie?
Yes, as Windu said in the intro, Robbie, there's a lot of people new in this community with the open beta and free to play on Xbox and PlayStation, and everywhere we're playing now is all free to play. We got an influx of new people here that might not know exactly who you are. So if you want to break down who you are, like where you came from playing Paragon, and then how you kind of thought of Ometa and got to that point and get to us to where we're at now, kind of explain that as best you can.
Yeah, sure. So I started as a content creator, as some of you may know. I was a content creator for Paragon, making content on YouTube and streaming occasionally. And then when Epic Games decided to shut down Paragon, I was following some of the other projects that were kind of messing around with Paragon assets. I met Steven and Andrea, who eventually became my co-founders in Meta Studios, which makes Predecessor. We spent about 2 years from 2018 to 2020 working on like a really early version of Predecessor. Steven was doing development streams, working with the community, and we saw kind of a lot of early traction. The team was about 4 or 5 people, I want to say. So going back a couple of years now, but I think it was 4 or 5 people when we released like a really early version, and maybe some of you guys played in it. I think Windu did and maybe Bearded, but I can't remember for sure. It was so long ago. But yeah, I know a bunch of people in the community played it, and it was like very rough, but I think I definitely saw potential in kind of what we could make, and so did some other people. So we managed to secure some funding. We received a mega grant from Epic Games. The team grew to about 25 people after that. We were able to bring on some really talented folks who had worked in the industry. We continued to do play tests. I think we did a few stress test weekends. I remember one of them, we couldn't even get the servers working. That was pretty disastrous, but I think that was more, we just had way more people than we anticipated, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but ultimately it was kind of a poor player experience. But from there, we were able to kind of prove that the product had a lot of potential, raise another round of funding. That one was much more significant than the previous one. That allowed us to grow the team. We're about just under 80 people like full-time at Omeda Studios, and we work with kind of other partners for outsourcing like skin production or icon sprays or all sorts of other stuff, although all the sprays in game currently are done in-house. But we have a bunch of folks working on the game outside as well. And yeah, we launched paid early access on PC in December 2022. We saw a lot of really great traction there that really kind of fueled a lot of our efforts on console. The PlayStation closed beta that we did was extremely successful for us, and we can obviously talk about that kind of in more detail. But given how successful it was, it meant that as a company we were able to really invest in getting the game on Xbox, because the game performs extremely well on consoles. And so we actually built the Xbox version in like 4 months, which is insane. So we got it done pretty quickly. And so yeah, today now we have the game out in open beta on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox Series S, Series X, and on PC. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey from a content creator. But yeah, hopefully that kind of covers a quick.
Oh, it definitely does.
Bro, you summed up a bunch.
Yeah,
you just gave me so many flashbacks with that little story you just did right there, bro.
I want you to speak a little bit on those flashbacks. I actually didn't get to play in that first playtest you had. I do remember watching the playtest, and I remember a lot of the players that were playing it, they were having issues with like having to really lead their shots, like to even have it actually hit where they wanted to hit. It was a pretty drastic how bad it was. So Windu, I know you did play on it, and Pinzo and F6, if you guys did play or not, you guys can obviously talk about it too. But Windu, I know you played that first play test. Can you talk about it just so people understand how far this game actually has come?
Yeah, man, bro. People don't understand how far this game has come, man. Like I remember being in there on that first test with like Britick, Mangoose, like we were all in there having a blast, shit talking each other and everything, while simultaneously like, bro, I cannot land a single thing right now, bro. Is my internet trolling me? What's happening right now? Like, I don't get it. And then fast forward, let's say like a year and a half, then like you said, that stress test where it was just too many people like struggling to get in and everything. I remember I scheduled off that day from work, got one game in 9 hours. I was like, son, why me, bro? But like the amount of bro, the amount of progress that this game has made, the smoothness, and kudos to Omeda on that side, because Omeda and Predecessor has always been kind of like praised for their smoothness when it came to other competitors and stuff like that. But yeah, man, like I even got videos up on my YouTube of like legit like April 2019 first test, rough as hell, and it's been a journey. I had 2 kids in the meantime. It's been that long. It's wild.
Right. The stress test, I remember going into it, and I sat there. I luckily got 4 games in. I was one of the lucky few that got more than just the one. Like Wendy said, he sat there for 9 hours, only got 1 in. The part I'm glad you said it was disaster, Robbie, because a lot of the Pred fanboys, they were like, oh, we stressed the servers, we did exactly what we're supposed to do. And I'm like, that's not what I believe Omeda wanted this stress test to be. I believe they wanted people to be able to play the game. We wanted to see what the servers could handle, and then if they crashed, we'll work on it. We'll go from there. We'll get you back into the games, and we'll go. It was like you only got to play. A few people got in early. That's pretty much the only people who got to play the rest of the time. So I'm glad you actually said it was a disaster, to let those fanboys know that just because it's called a server stress test doesn't mean that that's what we're aiming for in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pinto, you played the stress test, right?
The first test that I played was July 2020. Was the first time that I played Predecessor. It was open.
How was that one before you?
Well, it was good.
That's like one of those summer alphas, right?
Predecessor had a test, like an EA or like an alpha test or whatever, the same weekend that Fault released. That was why it was a big deal. And
so
yeah, it was I enjoyed it. I mean, I really liked it. Obviously, I had to play Fault for like 6 months afterwards before we got another test, which, that's kind of whatever. The stress test was like not terrible. I think I ended up getting 4 or 5 games during the stress test. Those were my best performing YouTube videos for a really, really long time. Like, those were my first YouTube videos to ever break like 1,500 views. Like I have 2 or 3 videos from that stress test that hit like 25-30,000 views, and it was like, I mean, it was wild. I was like, what the hell is happening?
The birth of Pinzo,
crazy,
bro.
yeah,
That's how it started, son. And here he is.
F6, what was the first one you were able to play?
The stress test when the service crashed, I played for 30, not even 30 minutes. I think it was like right before my game ended, and it just went, oh yeah, you're not playing today. And I was like, oh, this is sad. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess we just wait for the next one. And then after that, I just fell in love with the game. I was actually playing a lot of like MMOs at the time. I haven't even played MOBAs for like a really long time before that. And then Pred brought me back into it. So, because I was kind of done with like all the other MOBAs. They were kind of just not my forte.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, I played in the not that first alpha, but I played in the other alphas that were after that, and then I did the server stress test from there on as well. So I just missed that first alpha that was playable to the public. Well, closed.
I didn't know this game existed at that point in like 2019. I didn't find out about any of the games until I saw randomly. Because I didn't even like play Paragon. I didn't really watch any Paragon content, right? I had a Britic HD video talking about Fault cross my YouTube homepage in like August of 2019, and that's when I found out about the remakes. I had no clue about Paragon. Like when it shut down, they didn't release, like when they released stuff, I didn't know any of that. So
I'm pretty sure there's people out there
directly responsible for me playing this game.
I'm pretty sure there's still people out there that don't even know Predecessor exists. Still,
Oh yeah.
like people still slowly finding out, man.
Yep. Well, see, I did play Paragon, and I shout out to our boy Mangoose. I miss him. Pro went out for him. Come back. Anyways, I miss Mangoose, but I was watching his videos on that Phoenix game. What was that one called? There was like a Project Phoenix. That was he was doing project. That was like the first one that was announced that was supposed to be taking Paragon assets. That was going to be looking like Paragon or whatever. And then I was watching. I kept on following him because he had the updates on Core, and then the updates on Project Phoenix, and then it was what was the Overprime, and then it kept on going. And then Fault and Predecessor, and all these ones came out. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many of them. Like I can't wait. One of them's going to survive, and here we are with the only one left, Predecessor. So excited.
Bro, someone in chat said we got Predecessor on Xbox before GTA 6. Wild.
That's great. So let's talk into that. Great segue into these consoles and how they're going. You Robbie, you said that PlayStation, the closed beta for PlayStation went really well.
Yeah.
Your guys' initial plan was only to have that open for like a couple weeks, right? Or
it was like a month, right?
Amount of time.
Something like that.
It's about a month.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact timeline, but I think a month sounds about right.
Yeah, so you only had to schedule for a certain time frame, but everything was going so well that you like what happened? Like, to walk us through that from you guys, side, the Meta side, that like you're just seeing things like you planned on, hey, we're gonna shut servers down at this point, but then everything's just going that well that you're like, hey, you know what? We're just gonna leave it open. Well, let's go with it. Like, what was going through your guys' head at that time?
Yeah, it was super interesting because we had done a lot of work on the game, but we just really didn't know how it was gonna do on console. Just we didn't have like dev kits for like all 80 people, so like the people who were testing it had dev kits, but you couldn't test it like on a live version, so only people who had test kits could test it. And I had only played it like a few times before, but it's really hard with how many characters you have to really validate everything on the PlayStation. Obviously you can plug in a controller to your PC, but you're not feeling it with like the haptics and all the other features that the
Right.
DualShock has. So we were like super nervous. We're like, oh, we don't know how it's going to be, but we know like the community is super supportive. So if there's like feedback, we'll kind of gather it and then iterate on the product. But when we released it, we just like looked at the metrics and we were like, this is insane. Like we showed it to people, some of our investors who have worked on the biggest titles in the world. And we showed it to them like, this is nuts. Like we haven't seen a game perform this well, like in a very long time. And so then we were like, okay, things are going way better than we expected. Not only are people, the game's growing in a closed beta, but people are playing, they're spending a lot of hours playing the game. and the overall kind of sentiment is really positive from these players. So for us, it made no sense to kind of cut that short when we had the capacity to make it a little longer. And then I believe we like included a hero like in the update or something. In the January
new items.
Yeah, and a few new things. So then we were like, okay, why don't we use this as a, like, we know the community will love it, but we could also use it as a learning, as like, hey, we got to get a new patch out on PlayStation while having everything live. Like, it's a very different process. You kind of on Steam, you just submit it and like you're in control of everything. But on these other platforms, you have to kind of go through certification process. So like, why don't we just use this as like a learning experience? And it kind of seemed like a win-win for everyone. So yeah, it was super positive, and I think it worked out really well, because I think people really enjoyed or appreciated the fact that they could kind of play Predecessor longer, and we appreciated the extra feedback.
Awesome. No, I saw nothing, or at least from my community when I'm streaming or whatever, people come and talk to me, I got no really like negative feedback. I got some constructive criticism, you know, like whatever, like feedback that way to be like, hey, like this could be worked on and helped to, you know, with controller wise or whatever. But like when it came into PlayStation and that closed beta, like everybody was loving it. Like it was crazy to see like how accepted it was. Like I was definitely expecting like some crashing issues or this or something, you know, like, but I got nothing from that in my community. It was great to see.
Yeah, it was really positive, like way more positive than we thought. Like obviously super positive to the fact that we got the Xbox version out much quicker. But yeah, it definitely took us by surprise as well. Like I think us having been in the Paragon community kind of before, we knew that like Paragon was, well, at least we had been told Paragon was pretty popular on PlayStation, but I kind of we didn't know, like, was that just the amount of people, or were they like, how do people engage with it? And then when we saw like it's not only the amount of people, but it's how they engage with it, spending a lot of time playing the game, and so yeah, that was just really positive for us.
I'm very interested. I'm not saying you have the numbers, or you can give me the numbers here, but I'm very interested.
Can you give us the numbers right now
to know
all the
like
numbers.
the percentages like of players that are playing, like break it up, like how many, like the community. Here's the community. Let's say 20%'s on PC, 70%'s on PlayStation, and whatever's left on Xbox. I don't know if that, again, I'm just putting numbers out there. I would love to know those numbers and how that it's divided up, because I'm interested to see how much is PlayStation, how much is
percentages
console.
at least.
Yeah, I don't know the percentages, but like the and just to keep in mind, like our Xbox version is an Xbox preview, right? So it's not like officially launched on their store.
Okay.
It's still like
I didn't know that.
Preview.
Okay.
So therefore it's hidden, like discoverability is hidden, which is a massive thing.
You.
Right? Like
so
if you were
like how PlayStation was before, and like how you could only get it with the code, so to speak.
Exactly, but on game preview you can still get it without it. It's like a section for games on Xbox that aren't like fully ready, but they're in like a beta.
You have to know where to look.
Yeah, exactly, right? So if you're just the average person, you're not going to come across it. So that also impacts. But I would say, like, I don't know the percentages off the top of my head, but I do know PlayStation is pretty massive compared to PC. Like,
okay,
it's so massive that if we just shipped on PlayStation, we'd be fine. Like, that's how big it is.
Like more than double PC.
Like, it's way bigger. Like, it's like you're not even close. But it's
Pinzo's
really
about to get a PS5.
Yeah, yeah, it's really big.
No, I'm just curious. I just want, because we can only see Steam charts, right? Which is like not even the whole PC player base.
You're not even getting Epic in that situation. You don't even know what Epic has, and I went back. So you guys, the reason I brought that up is when you guys made the post recently, and then for those of you who don't know, it's something that they made a post on the Predecessor Twitter page that we've had 100 million accounts created. Not 100 million. Sorry,
100 million. 100 million.
Hey,
I was thinking the 700,000 post.
Give me back in 2 years. And we can
Sorry, we had the 1 million accounts created, which is a great number, great feat to have, you know, for a company. Like, that's awesome. But I was like, man, I wonder, like, where do we sit in this situation? Like, as I wonder, like, it's like PC. I went back and looked at Steam charts, and the Steam charts, like, accounts, whatever created, whatever it is, it's still sitting at that same 7,000 that it was there. I'm like, that hasn't really increased. I was expecting to see a little bit more increase there, but we haven't hit that spot yet.
I think I can share some clarity on that because I see a lot of posts and I don't think people understand how that chart exactly works. I mean, maybe you guys do, but the way that chart works is that's at a single point in time. So at a single point in time, it says there were 7,000 people playing Predecessor on Steam. That's why you usually see it spike when a game releases, because everyone's taking the day off. Everyone's making sure that they're on that game at like 1 p.m. So, but what doesn't count is how many people played like within the hour, within that day. So that number doesn't really share how well a game is performing, because when the game releases, everyone's adjusting their schedule for the release of that game. But then what happens is Bearded plays at 7 p.m. I play at 3 p.m. So we're not counted as that number. So that number is like massively out of context. So when you see 7,000, that's at a given moment in time. That was the highest amount, which for most games is usually like when they released. So if you look at a lot of Steam charts, you'll see the highest peak is when they released. And then over time, if a game is successful, hopefully that number grows and grows. But yeah, just wanted to share some clarity on that. Like 7,000
no, that makes sense.
Isn't like people that played in a day. It's people that's playing at any given moment in time.
So I want to hear a couple of console questions that are being asked in the chat right now. First one that I see being, I'm going to ask my own question and then add this one into the mix simultaneously. Are all the console versions exactly the same version of Predecessor, or is like PS5 look a little bit better than PS4? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
I think the way it works is when the game runs, it checks what the hardware is, and then it'll scale to get to like 60 frames. So the PS4 will look like the PS5 will look better than the PS4 simply because it's more powerful hardware.
Got you. So it's adaptive. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And is there any plan to add 120 FPS mode and expand on that powerful hardware of these new generations and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it already runs at 120, but it's locked to 60. So we just have to like unlock it. So yeah, the game runs pretty well. We just need to unlock it. So it should be fairly easy for us to do.
Do you have any, like, is there something you guys are trying to like figure out, like data points before you unlock that, or is there a reason you locked it?
I just don't think we got around to getting the time to just like unlocking it, but I'm pretty certain it's fairly quick. It's the same with mouse and keyboard that we want to put on. So we'll just kind of, I think I spoke to them and we're trying to get it done for 18, but it might end up being like 18.x.
Okay. All right, and you said mouse. So when you say mouse keyboard, you're talking about having a mouse and keyboard availability on console. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Nice. That's interesting to have mouse and keyboard on. I've never even thought of it. I grew up on consoles. I never even like.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me.
I've never used it either, but it's been requested a lot, and it's from what I've been told from the dev team. It's like just go like the game already handles mouse and keyboard, of course, for PC. So it's just enabling something on PlayStation and Xbox. So
it's like the exact opposite of Pappy, because Pappy's like asking for like an N64 controller. Can I play with an N64 controller? Can it give me the ability to map that out? I'm like, okay, what? I'm like, what? I don't understand it, but oh, hey, to each their own. As long as everybody's happy and everybody's playing the game, that's all that matters.
With the double consoles, and then PS or PC, when do you guys plan on like account linking essentially? Because I know a lot of people are waiting for that to try and make sure they just have one account throughout.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it's ready, but I know the guys are working on it. I know they're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. So but I just don't know what the timeline was on that. But I know they're actively working on it right now, so I can't imagine it's too much longer.
Okay. So you said that it took you guys like 4 months to build the Xbox version. That's great all in itself. But like, how does it feel now to be the CEO of Meta Studios, creating in a sense, recreating Paragon for the community that loved Paragon so much, and now you're even able to expand to a bigger pond that even Epic wasn't able to get to with Xbox?
Yeah, so does it feel real? To be honest, it feels kind of weird to see a game that I made on PlayStation or like Xbox. I'm sure like I grew up playing on a PlayStation, and so like seeing my own game up there is pretty weird. But it's awesome. I think the thing that I love the most is there's people that like there's a lot of people playing the game every day. I get to like watch people stream the game, like you guys. I try to drop into as many people's chat as possible. I think Pinzo F6 streams in the morning, so like morning my time, so I'm kind of sometimes there, and then Pinto streams in my afternoon time, and then Windu and Bearded much later, so sometimes I'm asleep. But I enjoy watching people play the game. It feels like it's super humbling that people would spend time playing something that I created, and that we get to continue to make more awesome things because you guys, the community, and all the players have kind of invested time and money into the game now to kind of help us continue to grow that. So yeah, it's just a really awesome experience, and I'm super thankful.
Great. It is a great, awesome experience. I love being able to play it, and I appreciate you and the whole team for doing this. Speaking of the team, we haven't seen any, like, for a while there, whenever there'd be a new hire, a group of new hires would be like, hey, here's our new costume designer, and then like kind of explain them and where they came from and their little experience that they've had. Have you guys done any new hiring since the last time we've been updated with that? Like, have we gotten anybody, like, you know, anybody like that with the community be like, oh my gosh, we got a new costume designer, or whatever it might be, like anything like that? Like,
we definitely have hired people. I think one of the things is we just been kind of flat out with everything. So it's been really tricky to kind of get those things up, and like as soon as someone joins, we're like, hey, we have like 101 things that we need you to work on, like go do these things, please. So yeah, we have hired. I'm trying to think of like what areas we have hired. I can't remember the top of my head of who we've hired this since the start of the year, but we have a character artist joining, a sound person joining. We had like some marketing people join end of last year. We had a producer join. So yeah, there's been a bunch of people that have joined. I just don't think we've had the time to kind of update people. But I'm sure one thing that we do want to do is try to do some videos where other people are like on camera versus just me usually. So I think that's something we want to do. And then we're also trying to see if we can do like dev streams before the patch. I don't know if we'll be able to do one for 18, but we kind of want to do a dev stream and maybe have some of the people on that worked on those features so that you guys can I want to build a company where you can put like a face to the names. And since a lot of the people are really from the community as well on our team, I think that makes sense. So yeah, we're just trying to do more of that, but there's just been a kind of a lot going on. You know, the game's been doing really well, and so that just meant more work for everyone, which is a great thing, but it's just mean that we have had to sacrifice in certain areas. And also just wanted to say I am seeing all the comments in chat, and so yeah, really appreciate all the kind words.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat,
right? I would love for like the dev streams, a dev stream like that to happen. But I would also, and I told this to Steven when he was on, Smokey, for those who don't know him as Steven.
The fact you call him Steven is so weird, bro.
It's because Robbie just called him Steven. So it just made me go to that spot. It was weird when I said it myself. That's why I had to like clarify. I'm like, wait, people might not know this. So when Smokey was on, he was talking about how he, started off doing those streams, and he was kind of like, I remember him doing the red buff. He was doing the red buff animations and fixing that and stuff, and I was watching that. I would love for, like, you guys are creating a new game mode, like, even so the new game mode is going to be done on, I'm assuming, on a new map or a different style map or something, like, even if it wasn't like showing us the new, because a new hero, you don't want to spoil that, right? But like showing some spots, like a little teaser, like, hey, we're working on this rock formation for the new map, and people would just be able to watch it, and it might not be like crazy, you don't get to see anything, but you're kind of looking at it like, oh my god, that's what it's gonna, like, I wonder where this is at in the map. Like a stream like that, one, it puts a face, like you said, to one of the creators, one of the devs names, and then it also just kind of like lets the community kind of be a part of that build like it was in the beginning when you guys started off. I think that would be completely awesome. Yeah,
no, definitely. We definitely want to do more stuff of that. I think firstly, I don't know how you knew there were more rocks on the new map, because Someone's been leaking something. But yeah, I think something we've spoken about is we do want to do more dev streams, and then hopefully and maybe it's more like we'll just record a bunch of stuff and then talk through it, which might be easier. But yeah, we definitely want to do more community involvement, and as we grow the marketing team, which we are growing at the moment, we should have some more capacity to have people kind of lead the charge on those areas as well.
All right.
Like that.
And new hire devs, that means we got more options for Predcast guests, like possibly,
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
So just hit me in the DMs of who you want me to bring on, and I'll hit them
Bro, I
up.
was about to say, time to DM 75 people, bro.
So I'm excited though. I'm happy to hear that things are growing and we're going there. I love seeing the post of 1 million accounts created. I was talking to our friend Huddy, and he said because there were some people kind of shooting it down, like, oh, what did that Smurf accounts, whatever, like, how much is that? And he even said, he's like, even if it was 20% of it was Smurf accounts, that's still 800,000 accounts created. Like, that's still a great feat. That number itself, so the fact that you got to 1 million is awesome. So I love seeing the amount of people that are playing the game. I'm just happy to see where it's going. Yeah. My next question is going to include F6 here. What are your thoughts sitting back? You said you're humbled by watching people play the games, but like you got people like F6 and Choice Plays and Lance Cecil, and even they picked up Ego from PTO. He came over and he's in there now. I saw him in this last PCC 7. Like your game, you're a esports gamer yourself. You won tournaments playing Paragon, and now you're watching the game you create. They're playing these tournaments, these PCCs and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on seeing all of that being done by the community?
Yeah, it's like awesome. I know awesome isn't the best word to use, but it's like, it's really amazing. It's humbling at the same time, and it's cool also that some of the devs are playing in those tournaments, which is really great to see as well. But yeah, it's something that you kind of wish people would do, and then someone does it and you're like, damn, these people are awesome. Like, they take time out of their own day to create these tournaments, which I know cannot be easy to organize logistically. And then they do the casting, which was always great. I really enjoy it. And actually, this Saturday I was with one of my investors. He came to London. He was the head of creative at Riot, so he did like all the new games for them. And
okay.
We were spending the day together, and we were just like, I was just telling him about the PCC and all the competitive stuff, and he's like, that stuff is awesome. Like, there's very few games that have a community like ours in such an early stage, right? We only just launched our open beta, and of course you guys have been following our journey for a very long time, but in reality it's kind of a very tiny fraction amount of time in the grand scheme of things. And the fact that we have such a strong community where there's people like Choice and F6 and those guys doing tournaments, and then there's people like you guys doing Predcast, and then there's Pinzo creating content on YouTube and Twitch. And so I think it's just really great, and we all really definitely enjoy the competitive side a lot. I think that's where I think Predecessor really shines. So I'm sure we'll talk about ranked soon, but I'm really excited to kind of help facilitate the competitive side of Predecessor. But you guys have been doing a phenomenal job, and we really want to kind of lean into that and kind of support any way we can.
You're excited to help facilitate. Good. Do tell.
100K to PCC 1.
Right. Do tell. Tell me more. What does facilitate mean on your side of the pond? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's I mean, I was just messaging Choice today, but I think it's anything we can do to kind of help. Obviously, something that I think is cool, and not saying this is going to happen anytime soon, but it's like, hey, could there be skins that help fund prize pools and stuff like that? That's something I think is really cool. They're more like logistically tricky to do, but I definitely want to see if we can do things like that to really help support the scene. Not just for PCC, but also for the other folks that are doing tournaments. I know there's the kind of EU equivalent that some of you guys help out on as well. And so for us, it's just really figuring out how we can support the community, and in the same way that you guys are supporting the game, right? To me, it's very much like this is the community's game, and I was kind of the person that's in charge of it, I guess, but it's very much everyone's game, and so I really want to try to facilitate where we can. And there's only so many hours in the day, and we as a company have to prioritize, but definitely something I want to lean into this year for sure.
All right. Yeah, there's a huge group of people that are doing this. You got PCC, you got Fang Booth. Fang Booth, like you said, is the EU counterpart.
There's a Spanish league.
There's the Spanish league. There's the one that they did a nations like tournament. That was really
they did
cool.
A nations league or
That's
nations
still Fang Booth technically, but yeah.
Is that okay? But then there's a PPG console tournament. The PPG is the Predecessor Proving Grounds, and they do so they're console only. So you have to do Xbox and PlayStation. I think there's one more that I'm missing, and I feel bad if I am missing one. But there's a good group of people that are like putting some tournaments out there, that are working together.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we even
BFC.
had,
BFC was the other one I was missing. My bad. I found it. So.
Because I remember this last PCC is actually kind of really exciting because I think they called themselves Predecessor Brazilian something league.
Yeah.
And then it was like the Japanese kind of side of things. They're like rebroadcasting our stuff to kind of like push out there so they can help start there. So I mean, that was also pretty cool to see as well.
Bro, I'm honestly surprised how much support Predecessor has in like Latin America, bro. Like whether it be in Spain, South America, and everything. I'm honestly shocked at the amount of people speaking Spanish. I was like, I don't even know how to say red buff in Spanish, bro. And I speak Spanish, right? I'm like, I'm playing with these people, and I'm like, el red buff. Like I don't know how to do this, bro. But it's wild, and the fact that so many communities, so many regions are getting involved on the competitive side really, really is exciting. That's why, like, whenever you said that you want to, help facilitate a little bit, I'm like, okay, well, what kind of support is going to be happening here, Robbie? What kind of deets can we get?
Yeah, I don't have any details, but it's definitely something that we've been thinking about a lot. I know at the moment we're doing we give out plat to like different tournaments and trying to facilitate that's kind of an easy one for us to do, but we definitely want to lean into it more. So I know the team are kind of thinking about different ways to kind of help out. So I'm sure kind of this year we'll be doing more.
Okay.
I want to highlight though, you guys help out a lot, even when it's just like back end stuff for like PCC and stuff. I know other tournaments as well. So I mean, it's not like they're not doing anything. Obviously, for you guys don't get to see all that stuff, but like on the back end and stuff, for us to like broadcast a certain way, I mean, it's always very helpful going towards like everything that we do. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take all the credit there. We have an engineer on our team, Ben, who's super awesome, who's always
Ben.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, Ben's always helping out, so the credit kind of goes to him. But yeah, he always makes himself available when there's kind of events going on. So yeah, shout out to Ben.
No, and I can second I can second that for F6. I see that in our content, Discord, content creator Discord that we have. You came in and asked for help with the replay system, and Ben already had kind of an option for you. He told you, hey, just let me know when you guys are getting ready to go. I'll click some buttons, I'll flip some switches, and help kind of facilitate some of those options and fix that. Or at least make it a little bit better, not completely fix it, but made it better for you guys in the end. So it's great to see that. I know not everybody in the community gets to see that, but it definitely does happen. I saw some about OCE, and we're talking about SA and how much love there is there. With going open beta here and being live on Xbox, being live on PlayStation, being live on PC now, how much more data or what are we looking at to kind of get other servers open in areas that weren't there because we didn't have the player base per se? But now that we're getting more of a player base, what are we looking at to get for opening up a server for OCE and stuff like that?
Yeah, OCE is an interesting one because from my understanding, the game on PlayStation isn't available in that region yet. You have to submit to different regions, and I think ours is available in Europe and North America. I don't know if it's available yet in those regions. So it'll mostly depend on kind of when it's widely available there.
Okay. All right. And I know, like, I'm gonna say his name wrong, but Kyoko or whatever. I know he's over in Japan. Like, he's looking for like a Japan server or something a little closer to him. Like, what are we looking at for that? Is the same thing, just and the same situation with it being NAEU with PlayStation and stuff like that?
No, I think the team are looking into a server, not strictly just Japan, but more in that region.
More in that region. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I think someone on our team is looking into that. It's more than just setting up a server, because you want to make sure that players coming in have a good experience as well, and that often means like localizing it. I think we got a lot of feedback from the community about our localization. There were also some like mistakes where hero names were translated when they shouldn't have been translated, and so we have some improvements coming. Want to make sure the game makes a good first impression with the localization, and then we'll kind of look to expand. I think it's pretty important that when people come into a game, if they see bad localization, I think that's like an immediate turn off. Obviously the game still has work to go in terms of features and all that stuff, but I think bad localization is a pretty big turn off for a lot of people. So we would want to make sure that's in a really good spot before we kind of expand into those regions.
Okay. Nice.
I know we touched on a little bit on like the competitive scene, but we didn't really get a chance to touch on ranked essentially, because we know there's esports side of things and like competitive leagues, but like what does it come to with like internally for everybody to have something to compete
Ranked
for?
Ranked
essentially what Pinzo said.
Yeah, I'll summarize.
I think we put a roadmap out, like a little image. I guess it kind of went under the radar because
Was it a roadmap?
Before, or like it was an image showing what's coming in an order that should make good sense. But it kind of went under the radar, I think, because it was like before open beta, and then open beta kind of everything blew up. But I think it said, and I can't remember exactly, but it was like 6 items, arena, or like the new game mode, which isn't arena actually, but new game mode, and then ranked mode. So I think ranked mode is pretty close, judging by like, I think we said 6 items is in the next major patch. So
arena mode? We're just gonna walk over that?
No, it's actually not an arena. I'm just so used to calling it by its code name.
You ever seen those detective shows when somebody catches himself saying something? It's like, no, that's not what I meant to say.
You guys would just be disappointed, I guess. But yeah, just be disappointed. It's like the same way we like August was Emerald. Like we just so used to calling it by the code names.
See, but Argus being emerald and his color being green, it fits. So arena being the code name.
Here's the story about that, right? We were like, we're really struggling. So what happened is with Kira, right? We called her Huntress. Yep. And then we were like, but Huntress sounds way cooler than Kira. But we were like, but like the feedback we got from other people was like, you can't name a hero Huntress because it's like kind of describing them versus an actual name of a character for when you want to build a lore. So then we were like, okay, let's name all the heroes after like gems, right? So we started with Emerald. And then after we did Emerald, then we're like, wait, this is going to get really confusing because there's all these different gems. But what if a hero is like called Ruby? Then we're like, okay, we've got to change the naming convention. So now they've changed it to something else. And so, yeah, that's a long story short. So we're bad at picking code names and they usually make no sense.
All right.
Gotcha.
Not an arena. It's going to look like a coliseum, you know? So
I'm just saying Kira was Huntress. All right. Then Xeris was Lizard.
Yeah.
And then we got our guy Emerald. I can't think of his name now. Argus. Argus is Emerald. Everything fits. Your code names all kind of describe exactly what it is.
Yeah,
so arena being the code name.
No, but then we learned from the Emerald mistake and we changed the code names.
Okay.
So what's the next code name?
The next one is, I don't know if it actually doesn't really relate to anything, but I can't tell you because people be data mining the code names. So then they can find out the kit, so I can't tell you.
All right, just DM me real quick whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you just like hit me up with that or?
Okay, so we know it's after arena, right?
Yeah. Well, so okay, to answer your question, the 6 items and the new game mode, should basically come in the same patch. Like they're planned for the same patch.
Okay, so we're not
Ooh.
looking
So
at a full
rank
patch.
up even
Spicy.
faster.
Yeah, exactly. So like our current plan, obviously everyone has to take this with a disclaimer because people
Yeah.
on Reddit hold me to it, and I'm like, you guys missed the disclaimer. But basically, it's 6 items, new game mode, and a new hero in the new patch, in the 18 patch. So it's a pretty big patch, and then after that is kind of ranked mode. I'm not sure like which patch after that, but after that will be ranked mode. That'll be the next big thing we add.
0.19 at
Damn.
earliest.
Yeah, well, the next major patch. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's the current plan. Obviously, things could change.
Yeah, that is
Is it-
that.
Is it going to be just duo?
That's the patch.
Is there going to be a 5-stack for ranked?
I think we confirmed it's solo duo to begin with.
Yeah, you did.
That's what
I
you
think
guys
that was-
said initially.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I
haven't.
think
Things
that's the
change.
plan for it.
Things change. We got to check. If you show up every 3 months, I'm going to ask you every 3 months just to make sure.
It's still solo duo, so it's like mostly because I think just with the ranked mode, just to like temper expectations, it's a ranked mode, but we're still like gonna be building stuff alongside it while it's live. So we're just starting with a small kind of solo duo, and then if things go really well, I'm sure the team will expand it. But yeah, just to kind of temper expectations, it's like we just want to get it out as quickly as possible to you guys, so it's very like iterative process while it's live.
So is there like any rewards planned to be with the ranked mode? Obviously, since it's a little bit more competitive side of things, is it just more amber, or like are we going to be able to get like different kind of rewards, kind of like a pass?
I can't remember I know there are rewards, but I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. I don't think it's amber though. I think it's something else, but I can't remember exactly what they were. And I don't want to say in case it's not those.
No worries. Okay.
Shout out to Joey in the chat. He used to be one of our Predcast members here. So he's actually asking, would you guys ever entertain the idea of a solo only if you make it to the rank of Paragon, let's say, for example, or if you make it to a certain rank? Because at that point, let's say 2 people of a certain caliber versus 1 person of a certain caliber, it starts to get a little bit harder to balance sometimes.
Yeah,
Would that be something you'd entertain?
I think I don't know what the design team's plans are, but just speaking from myself personally, like, you know, when I make it to the top 500, I kind of only want to be going solo queue, right? Like I don't want to go against people that are in duos at like the highest level. But I think, you know, kind of before that, you do want to play with a friend. So I don't think we should restrict it. But once you get to a point, I would like to think it should just be solo queue. But that's just me speaking personally. I don't actually know what the design team planned for it.
I think that'd be a cool idea. Okay, like once you get to that point of Paragon, or let's say like right before it, solo only.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like if you're the best of the best, you should be able to do it by yourself.
That's what I was saying, Pinzo. But
Yeah, okay, F6. Don't make me pull your win rate, dog.
dude, win rate doesn't matter until ranked. Okay, I'm saving all my.
Okay, you kind of got. I'll give you that for now. Don't make me pull your
One more
ranked win
points.
rate in a month. Okay.
chill. But so when it comes down to the ranked, is it going to be using the same matchmaking system you guys have now, or are you guys going to try and implement a harsher matchmaking system when it comes towards ranked?
Yeah, it has tighter parameters for sure. So it's the same system, but with different parameters.
Follow-up question: are you guys gonna loosen casual queue after ranked comes out?
I don't know if they have any plans, but it probably depends on like the queue liquidity. Like, so the way our matchmaker works, I don't know if this is live yet, but the way it's going to be working very soon is like it dynamically changes its own configuration based on how many people are in the pool. So like if there's not that many people in the pool, then it's gonna like quickly expand wider. But if there's a lot of people, it's gonna optimize for quality. So at the moment, we optimize for quality. But yeah, eventually I think the casuals, I think there's a fair case to say like people who want to play ranked want to play super tight, and people who want to play casuals probably don't want to play as tight as it is now, because a lot of the people that really care are probably already playing ranked.
And then I know we talked about kind of like how much is coming into the next patch, right? There's a lot of content within like the entirety of that patch. Are you guys gonna plan to keep it the same way still, or are you guys still on the fence about increasing the patch rev or patch frequencies going forward?
So if you mean like the 3-week cadence of like patch, I think we'll probably keep it the same. This patch is pretty big. The 18 one, there's a lot of content. Like there's a legendary skin there as well. There's like an epic skin that's like completely made by us. And so there's a lot of content in that one. So the next ones are probably going to be a little bit lighter. And they may be lighter for in some ways, but not in others. So 6 items is going to change the game pretty drastically. Like the pacing of the game is very different. We've rebalanced the entire game, so you're basically playing the game like a new game, even though it will feel very familiar. There's also new items in there, and our plan with balance changes going forward is to just be a bit more, I guess, take bigger swings, whereas before we weren't really taking bigger swings. And the reason for that, and I know people like, they don't take big swings. The reason for that is we need a really solid baseline for when all these players came in, right? If you have these massive swings and the game isn't in a stable space, a lot of these players will just churn out. So we put the game in a really stable spot, and then kind of to our, I guess, we kind of validated that worked because the game is growing week on week. So because the game is stable, it is able to grow week on week. Now we have a really strong core audience. We can say, hey, we're going to add in these 6 new items. It's going to make the game feel like completely different, but in a refreshing way. Like, hey, here's all this new content that you guys can try out. And if you don't want to try it in the in the normal 5 versus 5, you can try it the new game mode as well. So I think that's kind of our plan. And then with the next patch, that'll mostly be like a follow-up to balancing a lot of the things that we learned, because obviously we're testing it a lot internally, but in like the first hour of the game being live, you guys blow through the hours that we could do internally. So then we'll just follow up with that kind of balance changing. And then a lot of the other things that we're working on are mostly to do with improving the player experience outside of the game. So it's like, I know the team want to do some improvements to the tutorial, maybe adding in different tutorials for different roles. They also want to do like rewards and stuff, so people are rewarded through their playtime as well. So we obviously have the affinity system, but as you play the game, you're rewarded. So there's a lot of things that the team want to do that are kind of impacting outside of the game, and then inside the game we'll be taking a lot bigger swings to change up the game kind of on a regular cadence. And then with the new game mode, that should also help as well. There's a lot of interesting things in the new game mode that I think people will really enjoy.
Okay.
So talking about the 6 items change, can you, without going into detail, because I know things might change because the patch isn't out just yet, but can you kind of explain where some of that balance was? Like, I mean, because I mean, to put 6 items in a game, I'm assuming something like the gold drip is going to have to change, you know, or like bounty system's going to have to change a little bit for you to get more gold, because right now you got to play like a 40-minute game to get all 5 items as it is. So to get a 6th item, you got to play even longer, or you have to get gold faster some way or something like that. So that's one option, but can you kind of explain how you balance the game around that a little bit?
Yeah, I can only speak from a very high level because I didn't do it myself, but I know we've increased the gold drip, and so your gold income is faster. I don't know if kills and bounties have changed, but I do know that just overall you'll acquire gold much quicker than you do currently, and that helps a lot, because I think something that I personally find is like sometimes I back and I'm like, I can only get like a 350 sword or something, and it feels kind of but now when you back, and obviously if you die straight away it's not going to impact you, but now usually when you back you can at least get like a tier 2 thing, which feels really good. Like I went back and I got like a meaningful change, and so just those small things like that just help make the game feel better. And also the fact that like I run into it all the time is like I have 5 slots, and like when I'm building like my 3rd or 4th item, like I'm stuck because I can't fill the extra slot because there is no extra slot. So now I have this extra slot, which kind of helps out a lot. So yeah, it just makes the game feel faster, but in a way that doesn't like the games aren't ending in 15 minutes kind of.
It makes it feel faster, but it actually is ending around the normal time.
Exactly. I think it's because you're getting like you're acquiring things and you're spiking more rapidly than you do currently.
Okay.
With 6 items, like obviously you guys have to rebalance like a whole lot of the items, or like every item, right? Are we getting new items?
Yeah.
Like, can you say?
Yeah, yeah. There's new items, like items with effects that don't exist currently.
Okay.
What are those effects?
Yeah. Can you elaborate?
Can you describe one?
I can't remember off the top of my head, honestly. But what I'll do is I'll try it. No, because it's really hard to remember which ones ship and which don't. But what I'll try to do is I'll try to get the team to kind of like tease some in the coming weeks.
Do you know like any of the ones that aren't gonna ship? Like, have you guys tried anything like just like super crazy effects that like didn't really work?
I maybe, but I wouldn't. I don't know what the team tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We almost got it, so.
I was just curious if they've tried anything like really wacky that just like didn't translate well.
Yeah.
I know there's something, but I can't remember what it was. If I remember, I'll come back to it though, for sure.
Okay.
So staying on the items, and with getting a 6 item slot plus adding new items in 18 here, come when that's available. What are we looking at, or where is the priority level of item art? Because I know this item art we currently have is just a placeholder. What are we looking there for that?
Yeah, it's not coming with 6 items. What we want to do is finalize and make sure that we're happy with where 6 items are, and then we're probably going to end up doing a whole UI pass on a lot of things in the game. And so once we define that, we'll probably update the item art.
Have any of these Twitter artists been reached out to, out of curiosity? You know, like,
no,
it's like some of these champs.
Yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been seeing the work though. It's awesome. But yeah, because we haven't defined the style yet, it's difficult for us to kind of approach anyone. I think once we have the style, we always I reached out to someone from the community for some sprays. So we're always looking to work with the community. That's kind of our first preference. But we need to have a clear style first to give them a reference. Otherwise, 3 different artists are going to submit 3 different things, and it's not going to be a cohesive product.
Very true.
And then still staying with the 6 item, I know you guys said crests are going to be a little bit more updated later on. Are you guys also planning on introducing consumables that you can buy and like maybe put like mana potions in for an example, or be able to buy wards instead of just having them for free?
Yeah, so I think the current, and don't quote me on this, but I think the team's plan is to do the 6 items, then look at vision. So then it'll probably mean that, I don't know if they'll end up changing it, but they want to look at it. And then that'll likely mean that they'll look at consumables too. But yeah, I'm not sure on the timeline on that, but I do know they want to look at vision.
I like that.
Is it just me? Because I'm not the huge I play every MOBA guy, right? But like, it's to me it feels weird that Predecessor is like one of the MOBAs that I play that doesn't have a mana pot or an omni pot. Like you literally only have a health pot and that's it. Like, is that just what was the thought behind that? And anybody else on the show here, can you answer? Like, is that weird that this is the only one that doesn't have a mana pot, or what?
It is an omnipot. It does boost your mana a little bit. It's just not significant enough for you to see the difference kind of flow.
Is it?
Also, it's
Yeah,
also like
I haven't even paid attention to that.
if you had mana potions, it would diminish the value of like having to go to contest for a river buff. And I kind of like the play pattern that creates. Other MOBAs don't have river buffs, so they kind of need other ways to gain mana. But I think river buffs create a really interesting dynamic where it's like, do I back or do I like kind of risk it? But I don't have a ward to check the river buffs, so kind of like 50-50 it. I kind of like that play pattern. I'm not saying we'll never do mana potions, but that's the current reason why we don't have mana potions.
Okay.
So one of the things I don't know if you guys have looked at, but I do understand where like, okay, so I don't mind not having mana pots because like the river buffs for the mid, then you have the blue buff for the jungler. Usually like for the off lane, you kind of have some way to kind of replenish your mana. I know you have it in the green buff.
Yep.
but is there like you guys considered like another way of like maybe like a different lane camps? Like, okay, we'll give like a protection buff for like the dual lane for the support or something, and then like a mana buff essentially, kind of like somewhat similar to Smite, but kind of in that area.
Well, I don't think the team have considered it, but you could probably just go run River F6 if you wanted to. You could take the River.
Then my
buff.
mid yells at me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like a
Go,
skill.
go to the other one, bro. Right?
Yeah,
Cross
they don't have
Cross
to grab
mid
your
lane
one.
and go to that one.
Oh
Exactly.
man, I can't take blue buff. I can't take rivers. I just get
Yeah, I'm
yelled
taking
at.
that blue buff every time on cooldown. But yeah, I think one of the, and this is just my own personal opinion versus anything we've discussed, is like one of the things I think is cool is that I think the buffs on the outside should just rotate in terms of like maybe like every season or every big update, which I kind of consider like every quarter, so every 3 months. Maybe those buffs just change, so they do different things, so it kind of changes how you would play the lane around those buffs. Whereas like now it's like, hey, it's the green buff, like I get a bit of health back kind of thing. But like, what if like next quarter it did something completely different, so it changed the way you play, or may change the heroes that are really strong. So yeah, that's kind of something I would like to do more of.
What if the
That'd be
map
cool.
changed and that's what caused the buff to change? Hear me out. What if?
Hey, we are doing map changes this year, so
Or
Oh,
what if it was
hold
something-
on. This year?
yeah, this year there will be map changes for sure. Now whether they're the map changes you guys want, I don't know. But the map changes, like,
I'll see you in
okay.
November with the map changes. All right.
do we add
That's
a
still
So-
this year. He's not wrong with that statement.
Are you guys
depends
look-
what you define as a map change?
Well, somebody asked in the chat earlier, are you guys looking into weather, dynamic lighting, anything like that to make it a little bit more immersive?
I know that the current, so yeah, it's a little tricky. So when Epic released the Paragon assets, the assets were designed to work with like what they call baked lighting, which means that we have to pre-build it, and then when you guys run it, you're running basically what we built, and so it can't change in real time. Now, what we spent a bunch of time doing, like 4 months of 2 artists' time, is building so that it can work in real time, which means that you can have like a day-night cycle. We probably wouldn't do a day-night cycle, but you could have a day-night cycle and you could see the hours change and the lighting would change based on that. You couldn't do that previously because of the way they had set up all the assets. So
Okay.
now that's possible. That I think we did a play test with that internally and it worked, but we couldn't ship it in time for when we wanted to do the open beta. So it's probably something we'll revisit, and I think the plan is to revisit it with the map, like with some map changes. Now, I don't know how big
Halloween
those
map?
changes are going to be.
Right. That's what I heard.
Thinking.
So
Lanterns.
I don't know. Yeah, so the Halloween map that Epic did is just like they pre-built it and then they set the lighting and then they shipped it off. Ours is now we could just change it like dynamically without having to do anything. But I think the plan for this year is we would want to try and do something around it. But I don't know if it's going to be a map. I don't know if it's going to be Halloween themed. I just know we want to do like real-time lighting.
Okay.
Take it.
That's something.
That's
Right.
something. I'll take it.
All right.
Then-
I was gonna say somebody in the chat also asked, what about community events like Twitch drops? Because there's a lot of people that specifically open beta. You know, a lot of big streamers are coming around. Like, is
Yeah.
that something gonna start happening, or maybe a couple
Yeah,
of
we
skins
just-
to give out?
Yeah, that's definitely happening. I just spoke to Ben, who's actually working on it today, and he's testing it right now. So he's working on the account linking as well. So it's kind of should all come at once. But yeah, we're already working on drops as well. We want to kind of help build the community on platforms like Twitch as well through those kind of mechanics. So yeah, it's definitely coming. I don't know what is planned to go into them because I'm more involved in like, hey, let's get this thing kind of done, and other people kind of fill it with content. But yeah, it's definitely something we're working on kind of, literally today.
I guess planning on
Nice.
like just being as sprays and like icons, or like a little bit more towards like skins and like different types of cosmetics as well.
I'm not sure, but again, this is just my personal take, would be like, it'd probably be cool to do skins around events versus just 24/7, so that they
Right.
have like this meaningful spike in engagement. And then just kind of around, like maybe they're just like chests, right? And the skins are like super rare, and so you could get them around the year, but during like Halloween, for example, you're more likely to get a skin kind of thing. But yeah, I'm sure there's tons of stuff. One of the things that we consciously did was trying to add in a bunch of different things to create variety for players. Like there's skins, there's sprays, there's different recalls now, and so we just want to add there's banners and stuff, and not everyone is going to care about every single thing, but there are people that really want all the banners or really want to collect all the sprays, and so we're just trying to provide as many different things for all the audience.
I said it before, but you weren't on the show, so I'm gonna say it again. I understand the bundles, but the things that are in the bundle should be also be able to be bought at a certain price individually as well, because I don't necessarily want the banner, but I want the Argus drinking beer beard spray. Like that spray fits me perfectly, and I'm like, I want that, but I don't want the whole bundle. So like, I want just the spray. So I think the stuff like that, like you can put it in a bundle and make it a little bit cheaper. So because people are gonna want to buy the bundle because that's cheaper. But some people are like, hey, I'll just spend a little bit extra to get just this and get instead of getting everything.
Yeah, I think we are planning to introduce like a spray store, or like I don't know if it's spray specific, but like other stuff kind of store.
Yep.
So it's just like us finding time to build it. At the moment, putting stuff in the bundle was just the easiest way to ship it. But yeah, it's something we definitely want to try and do.
Now, I was gonna say I'm super big onto the skin side and everything. Like I'm all about collecting skins and such. I know that a while ago, switching to every 6 weeks for like major content patches was, while you guys were setting up the pipeline, while you were getting stuff ready. As far as like accelerating that, whether it be in the future more content per patch or just faster patches, maybe going back to every 4 weeks, is there anything like that you can tell us in the pipeline? Anything to kind of excite that side a little bit as far as the content, the visual and all that?
Yeah, nothing in the short term, just kind of the honest answer, but something I've been talking about with some of the production people is like, how do we ship stuff faster? Because there's two sides to this. One is like from the open beta and also before, the audience is growing, and so we want to ship things to help grow that as quickly as possible, because it's we're in a very fortunate spot. But the other side is you kind of also want to pace it out at a pace that's like sustainable. You don't want to drop like a bunch of content, disappear because you dropped everything. You kind of want to make sure it's nicely paced out. And what's most important for the majority of players is that every 3 weeks they come back and there's something new. Something we've been talking about with the team is sticking to the 6 week cadence, but trying to break it up in 2 weeks. So like every 2 weeks. So like you'd have a hero every 6 weeks, but there would be a patch every 2 weeks. And that would have skins and a balance pass. So that's something we're thinking about, but it's probably not happening anytime soon. And just the way we make our decision, it's all based on like what the studio can sustain, but also what we see from player engagement, right? Like if player engagement is like dropping off rapidly, then we would have to reevaluate how fast we ship content. But we have data, and we know that players also don't want content shipped too fast, because if you balance stuff too quickly, they can't adjust, right? Like not everyone is playing as much as we are. A lot of people are just much more casual, and so when you ship stuff too quickly, they also start to feel like they can't keep up with the cycle of the game. It's happened to me a lot where I've like taken a break from a game for like 1 or 2 weeks, and I come back and I'm like, it's all this new stuff, I have no idea what's going on. So you do need to be careful about that as well.
Okay. And then speaking about skins a little bit, what's the entire, like, do you know what is going to go on with the Amber a little bit more going forward?
I don't know exactly what's going on. I would have to check with the designer on it, but I know that they're planning to add in more ways to spend your amber, but I'm not sure which patch that's in. Problem is that the people that are doing the UI are all working on ranked. So it's either ranked or something else, and everyone kind of wants ranked. So once ranked is done, then the UI people can work on kind of the other stuff that's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care that much about Amber. Ranked is definitely on the priority.
Yeah, scratch my question. Don't even
Right.
ignore
That
what I
was-
said.
Ignore
That
everything.
wasn't for me. That was for chat. Hey, look.
Yeah,
Speaking of UI, understanding after ranked or whatever, but like UI, we're talking about you made a comment also about like the items, and that's more of a UI thing when items getting revamped with their
The art.
placement holders. They have the artwork. Yeah, thank you. Something I was watching our boy Sockcap's video about, like he was describing, it was a guide to understanding gold in the game, and one of the things he talked about was the bounty system. And right now there isn't, for even the new players, is more of what I'm talking about. Like understand UI needs to be updated to understand what players have a bounty, even whether that be the regular just kill bounty or being the farming bounty. Because like a lot of these new players right now, when they're playing the game, once they're down 0-3-0, they're like, oh, I want forfeit at 10 minutes, and they're spamming the the FF when they're able to. I think a little way to something on the UI to kind of explain that bounty system, to understand like, hey, if we just focus this person, get this bounty on our team, we could possibly turn this around and make this in a better spot. Just something so the new players can understand that's there. I think it's something that's definitely needed in the game when the UI is updated. Is that something that you guys have in the plans, or?
Yeah, that's definitely in the plans. We had like half a solution to that where we had, and it actually was causing a lot of issues in terms of bugs, but we'll fix it and put it back in. But we had like a dynamic system, I guess. It would tell you, oh, you killed RGS Ace for 700 gold, and like you shut him down. Like it'll tell you
Like a
in
little
the chat.
description.
Yeah, exactly. It'll tell you in the chat like who you killed. I believe it. So it tells you like when All Prime is spawning, when Fangtooth is spawning, whenever's taken, who's killed you, who's been shut down, how much gold they earn, and then it also, I believe it also, I don't know if this is in the chat, but as part of the system, we also added in like if you ping your ultimate, it'll now tell the person like the time remaining. So like it'll just say like ultimate, but if your ultimate is on cooldown, it'll be like my ultimate will be ready in X seconds, or if your ultimate is off cooldown, it'd just be ultimate ready, if that makes sense. So that's in there. There's something else with that. I can't remember what the other thing was, but yeah, there's like some dynamic stuff in there that should help people. Like, people always pinging like they want to go in, and then you can ping your ultimate's not ready or whatever. So I think that should help. And then yeah, we do want to add it to the scoreboard, but that wasn't included in that update. But it's probably something we could add in fairly quickly to the current scoreboard, and then when we revamp it, we can make it much more pretty.
Have you guys thought about like different visuals for different pings? So for like requesting like a support, it's like a different icon than, hey, I need you to attack, or like, hey, watch out, like a question mark, kind of like what they do in League.
You mean on for the like the pings that happen
VGS?
in the world?
Yeah.
Or,
So like if I'm like, hey, careful left lane, like it does the ping, right? But instead of just pinging regularly, it's like, oh, here's a question mark, right? For whichever lane it actually pings to.
I think at the moment we have like the colors, right? Like it's red, green, and yellow.
Well, that's when you middle mouse ping, it's multiple
That's when it
colors.
shows up.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
But
even
if
when you
you-
ping on the right hand side, right? It's color coded.
Oh, maybe it is like where it shows it on the right. I don't look at that.
But I say nobody looks at the right side, but
So where do you look at it then?
I look at the map.
I look at the map. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's something we definitely want to do. I was just wondering where you guys were seeing it. I think actually oh, sorry, Windu, just real quick. I think
go ahead.
the other change we are doing, although it's still, I just reviewed some sounds for it, is, oh yeah, I actually forgot. In 18, there's a massive sound update too, with like a new announcer, and like the entire game has been audio mixed. As part of that, we also wanted to add ping sounds, but relating to what they were. So like if it's an attack sound, it's a different sound to like defend, retreat, and the other one. So that should be in there. But like that's a maybe because I reviewed the sound and we still need to polish it, but we have time. So yeah, there's a big sound update coming as well.
Are you the new announcer?
No.
Bro, I was about to say, my boy Tiger's gone. No.
Please tell me it's not Stegs either, because like we don't want to lose any more CMs. Anytime a CM puts their voice in the game, we lose them. So like we gotta like not let that happen.
It's we had a voice actor, but the long-term vision for it is to build like have announcer packs and stuff. So you guys can pick the ones that you want, but just for now it'll be a single announcer.
Just don't get Pinzo an announcer pick.
Okay, well, whatever. F6. Is there any plan for HUD editor? Do we know? Because just talking about Smite, like you can actually like ping the map and stuff like that, right? And it makes different noises how you ping. I was just like that just brought HUD editor to my mind.
There's no plans for a HUD editor at the moment. I think what's likely to happen is we'll just give you options to customize it like on presets, but I don't think the option to like customize it completely will happen until we redesign the HUD.
Okay.
Gotcha. I can see console players. I was gonna say I can see console players wanting to like move the map or make it larger. Now there's some people out there in like 80-inch screens playing the game and they're like, ping on the mini map. Okay, got it.
Dude, my map is dude, that shit's so far in the corner.
Yeah, it's like
I need that center screen.
I actually want someone like I think I'm gonna get someone to try and do it for like 19, but I did make it bigger, but then I showed it to some people and they were like, you can't ship that. I was like, I only made it like 10% bigger. So then I had to go back and revert it. And so now we'll just ship an option where you can just slide it and make it bigger yourself.
Yeah, that is I need a slider for size and opacity. Like that is it, right?
Oh, opacity is probably super easy. We could do that one pretty quickly.
I need center screen. I need it as big as it can go at 20% opacity. That's all I need.
You still gonna see our pings though, Pinzo?
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna look at your pings.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Smokey in chat with the Pinzo announcer pack. You are Dunzo.
That would be great.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So that would be great. I'm speaking of the HUD and the map and pinging what I don't know how Smite does it. I don't really play Smite, so I don't know how that works. We click on the map, right? But I liked how PTO did it. Like you had a button, you brought the map, you brought it's basically the score screen. Like when we hit tab now, you bring up the what's going on with that. You brought that up and you're able to click on the map that way. And you could ping, so you just hit that, you pick the spot in the map, like ping there multiple times, whatever. Like that was a good way to do that. I think kind of give you that free ping all over the map. So
I mean that's how Smite does it.
Is that how Smite does it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
but the map is static. Basically, you just go to
the map
it and
doesn't
click.
move, but you can free your mouse and click on the map.
Just don't give them more than 3 pings because they'll start to ping.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Jeez almighty.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, bing, 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 bing. I was like, dude, chill out, please.
And I agree with Choice. Please change the tab screen. That needs to get fixed. We talked about that last time when you were on here, though, Robbie. So, I know you'll work on that when the UI after ranked. We got to get ranked out first, guys. No UI change until we get ranked. All right.
Nothing until
you're
ranked,
muted, though, Robbie.
If Choice says we got to do the tab screen, then I'll pause ranked, and then you guys can have it later.
Look what you've done.
We were so close.
We're so close to ranked.
Blame Choice. All right. That's hilarious.
Then when it comes to, I know we still have like a lot of people out there, like we talked about how to like increase like the quality of the gameplay and like the visuals of the consoles. Is there going to be stuff to implement, like how they're going to be able to like adaptability with the controller, so like turning off aim assist if they want to, because I know some people don't like aim assist and it kind of feels wonky to them. Is that going to be a possibility?
I think it's something we could probably add. I don't know if it's on our roadmap at the moment, but I have seen the same comments, so it's something we could look to add for sure.
I see, bro. I'll tell you what.
Voice lines, sorry. That was our
go
last
ahead.
one because that was a part of my pinging system. Was like, are there going to be like voice lines for it? Like, do you guys have a plan for that? Like when somebody says, "Oh, careful left lane," it's actually a lot easier for for me to hear it than to like
Yeah.
try and look at my.
You hear saying retreat, retreat.
Yeah, I kind of want.
Did you imagine hearing Pinzo say retreat all the time though, F6?
That
No, well, I wouldn't say retreat. Say like, get
Yeah.
the fuck out.
What are you doing, man?
yeah,
Why are you
He'll probably-
pushed up?
they'll probably just say, "Good job, good game."
Yeah, FF15. It's not something that's obviously coming in the next update, but it's definitely something I want to add. I think it would be cool to really add it. I think my kind of the way I look at it is it should probably be like a different voice to the announcer. It should be like someone else's voice so that it stands out to players.
Yeah.
You
And
like
then we
Smite,
can-
like a hero voice, like Sparrow saying retreat, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've actually haven't used their, like, I don't know how their ones works, but
every hero has like a different voice essentially.
Yeah.
So they're
Oh,
pings.
Well, to clarify, a standard skin does not. A premium
Yes.
skin comes with a voice pack, and
Okay.
that's when you
But
get the
each
special
god
one.
has its own base voice pack.
Yeah. So like,
Like
the base
there's the
skin.
default announcer, and then if you own the god's voice pack, you get their like default. And if you equip a skin, like I don't know what tiers get voice packs, like tiers 4 and up get a voice pack.
Yeah.
Then it uses that god voice pack. So like there are some
Okay.
voice packs like dinosaur Kamazots that are literally just screeching. Like there are no words being said.
No
Oh.
words at all.
But like that's the voice pack for that skin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'll
Okay.
accept just those base voice line though. I mean, that's a great start, just having a base voice
Yeah,
line. So
I think for us, obviously, we don't have the voice actors that did the original Paragon stuff. So for us, I think we'd probably just use like another announcer, and then maybe you guys could just get like different packs for that or something.
Makes sense.
You know what?
When will we get? You got a window.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, somebody in the chat just asked, are we gonna get in-game pauses in case of a disconnect, in case of
No.
like, you know, like like somebody just randomly has to leave, like 60-second pause or something.
No way. I hate it. I used to play StarCraft. I don't know if you guys play StarCraft, but you could pause in StarCraft. Dude, people would pause and I just sit there for a minute waiting. And
Yeah.
I don't want people to have to go through that experience in my game.
I don't like it because they do it in Smite, and every time it's in ranked Smite, it's the first minute of the game, so it takes away your only pause, and it's for the first minute because somebody didn't use the bathroom before they actually got to the game.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's annoying.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. I don't think I've ever played a game that was like that. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I saw in chat they said for customs we could probably I don't know how easy it is. Maybe Smokey or Steve Smokey, Sergeant Smokey in the chat. I just trying to remember what people would remember him by. Maybe he knows how easy it is, but I could see a case for that being in customs, but not in like
Yeah.
the public games.
Well, speaking of
Speaking of
customs, I was
When
I
we
was gonna
were
say,
on the
yeah,
same
bro. I
page.
think all of us were there. Like, speaking of customs, like as far as like, you know, all the competitiveness going on, the competitive scene, like, you know, expanding on the whole custom lobbies themselves, you know, being able to add a spectator in there, you know, kind of
Yeah.
enhance the experience. Maybe even just like a 3v3 custom, just because we want to try some stuff out. What's
Yeah.
going on with that?
I don't exactly know, but I know this week people were talking about like potentially having control over like dawn dusk side. I think that's like the
Yeah.
most important thing for competitive. So I think an easy way to do that is just like whichever team queues first will be dawn, and whichever one queues second is dusk, right? Like super quick to do. And then I think we already have like functionality, obviously play the game 1v1 or whatever size we want. So it would just be a matter of seeing how we could expose that to kind of to you guys basically. So I think those are very realistic things that we could add in. I don't think they'd be in for 18, given we try to lock patches pretty far in advance, but we can try and get something in for 19.
I think that would be huge in the sense of like just a 1v1, because right now for you to go into the practice mode and you go to try to beat up a steel that has 50,000 HP. When you're using HP percent items, it just seems like, man, this item chunks. And then you take that item into the game, it's like, well, this item's not chunking like it showed me in practice mode. And people don't understand that you're going against a steel that's got 50,000 HP, so it's going to chunk harder against that, right?
Yep.
So I think having the ability to do like a 1v1 custom, like me and Windu can go in there. All right, let's test a build out, right? You're gonna build against this, and I'm gonna build for it, and I'm gonna see like how, because again, when you're playing against somebody, they're gonna counter your build. So like, all right, well, how's my build do against a counter build, and then we'll see how it goes from there. It's like, all right, let's play just 1v1, see what we do, and where it goes from there. I think that would be a good way to test stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I saw like Grady was doing the 1v1 tournaments and the kind of struggles that they were going through to kind of, get 10 people, make sure they're managing lanes, that kind of stuff. So really want to figure out a way to kind of empower the community without them having to jump through loads of hoops to do things like that.
Wukong win.
Yeah, who's the next hero? Do we get patch notes on Friday?
The patch is next week, right? So I don't.
It should be.
Yeah.
Do we know if the patches are back to Tuesdays?
I don't know what date this patch is shipping actually.
From
I would
what
have to ask, but I will get them to confirm it.
from
Okay,
what
I was
Kari
just curious.
said, or Kari or Carrie, from what
I've always been saying Kari, bro, but I don't know. Have I been saying that wrong?
I don't know. Is it Kari or Carrie, Robbie?
Harry, I think that's what I. That's
All
what
right.
I use.
That's what Robbie says.
So, yeah, all right. So from what Carrie says, if I remember correctly in our Critter Discord, that the plan is to go back to the Tuesday. These got pushed because of Xbox or one of the console was having an issue with the patch release or whatever. So the plan is to initially to get back to our Tuesday release time. And so the only thing, if it doesn't go on this next Tuesday, then it's going to be pushed back because of probably a console patch release or whatever.
Yeah, I think our plan is definitely to stick to that cadence. Like we want to be very consistent about it. Obviously, there's growing pains, but we definitely want to be as consistent as possible with like, hey, patch notes every Friday, or if they, Friday or Monday or whichever they choose, but like commit to that, and then every Tuesday is the patch, so that people get into that routine. That is kind of my earlier point, is the routine is more important for people.
Speaking of like patch notes Friday, that kind of thing, like has there been any consideration for something like a public test server for Pred?
No, that's like we have internal testing, which is like a good amount of people, but I don't think we'll support like a public test server anytime soon.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat just tagged
Do we know who
me.
the next hero is?
Oh, let's talk about that one.
I don't know. You
Let's
guys
focus on
can
that.
guess. I guess I'm not gonna say.
Well, I've got like a 1 in
Well, I'm still
6,
waiting on a code name, bro.
right at worst,
Better
and
than-
it's not
Why?
Wukong because
Well, code names-
Wukong is never coming to the game.
What do you
so it's
mean
like a 1 in
never?
5.
Windu, code names are for the new OG heroes, not
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Paragon existing heroes. So
Yeah, if
we're
he was
gonna
gonna
get-
say like codename Bear, like that's a pretty easy like, guess, you know.
he
for-
said the code names are changed where they don't reflect the hero.
Yeah,
All right.
codenames now don't reflect anything.
All
Like
right.
they're designed
So-
to, because we know people data mine, so we had to make everything obscure.
So next
Well,
hero
so
is
are the Paragon
Terra,
heroes
why?
codenamed or no?
No, the Paragon heroes aren't codenamed, but like everything else, like the new game mode, new heroes, they're all different. They're like so obscure because people data mine.
Okay. So the next hero is like, well, what's left? Terra, Boris,
Yeah, Terra, Zing,
Aurora.
Wukong, Zinx,
Yin.
Yin.
Aurora,
yeah,
Yin.
yeah.
Just let it be
is that
Terra.
all of them?
Wukong, Terra, Boris, Yin,
Aurora, Zinx.
Aurora, and Zinx. That's our
So
I
six.
think it's 6, yeah.
And you know we don't like Wukong, so you can take
And
one off.
it's
You got
not
What do
Wukong.
you mean?
You got
That's
1 in
20%.
5%.
Love it. Love
If
it.
If everyone on Predcast guesses a different character, then we just one of us will get it right.
I mean, I never said I'll confirm it, but you can guess.
Yeah, you can guess. You can just sit there and we just named all 6. Yeah,
Put
you're
it,
right.
put
You
him
did.
full screen. Just let the chat watch him twitch. Just wait for it.
Yeah, I will say
Yeah.
I played the hero, and I really enjoy
Is
that.
she cool?
The hero is very fun.
I did
That was a
what
good
I
one,
could,
Pinto.
guys.
That was a good one. That was a
You
good one.
tried.
You tried.
You tried.
She
You
doesn't
almost got
narrow
him.
it down very much. There are like 4 girls, a bear, and a Wukong. Like,
Exactly.
Like, I don't know why you guys are hating on Wukong, but that's fine.
Hey, man.
Me and Demande.
No comment. So let's do this, because we honestly could be here, quite frankly, all night. And correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie. It's like what, 1 a.m. for you right now?
No, we got about
Right.
25 minutes to 1 a.m.
Oh, bro, it's basically 1 a.m.
You-
So it's
you guys are fine. I'm here for you guys, so ask as many questions as you want.
well. What I was
Say
gonna
it
say
to
is
us.
this: let's go ahead and do some quick fire Q&A with the community. Easy questions you're gonna be able to answer in just less than a sentence, and we'll just kind of do that for like maybe like 10-15 minutes, something like that. Just kind of run through a couple of those, and then we'll start doing our outros because we're starting to reach that 2-hour mark anyway. So chat, if you guys want to, go ahead, ask quick questions. If your question doesn't get answered, I encourage you, type it again. We're gonna try and get to some of these. We'll each pick one out. We'll take turns, and we'll go from there. I'll let F6 pick the first one, bro.
I mean, you already shot down my other one. So, when it comes to you guys' roadmap, are you guys gonna actually release a full roadmap anytime soon, or are you guys just gonna kind of still keep it kind of a little closed in house?
I'm not sure, but probably if we do decide to do a roadmap, it'll probably be after we release ranked.
All right, I'll throw one out there. Replay, we rework when, as far as like smoothness, adding features. Because right now I'll hit +10 and it like glitches.
Yeah,
Very
so
low.
actually, I think part of that is because the game just became way bigger than we expected, and there's like a knock-on effect to replays. So that should be smoothed out. Like basically, what happens is, I think it was one of the PCC events where they're like, it was fine in the morning, but then the game like massively spikes on Saturdays, and so like then it stopped working properly. And so it's more just like we just need to add more capacity on our side, and then also we're working on fixing the bugs. I think that's probably going to be for like the 19 patch, and we do have in this year's roadmap some improvements to the replay system. One of them is like trying to get some better graphics there for you guys.
So like, kind of like the smaller tab screen, kind of just somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I think that's what they want to do. I'm not sure like how much we'll be able to do this year, but that's kind of one of the things that we want to try and do.
How about all chat when?
Yeah, that's not happening. You haven't seen what
No?
people write in the
What
team
about
chat?
post game chat? What about like post game lobby chat?
Let's say or in menu.
No, with everybody. Let everybody in there. You can just go back to menu if you don't want to be in the post game lobby.
Yeah, I mean, we do want to add in chat across the entire game, so that'll come in. All chat, no intentions of adding that in the game itself. Post game, maybe, but yeah, not sure. People are very toxic.
You're right.
Custom keybinds for each hero.
Yeah, so we added in the custom costing, and we wanted to add in custom keybind, so we'll just add it. Probably 19, I think.
Okay.
Like that. There's like a situation where you have the right side peak in the game currently. Is that intentional or
Oh,
kind
you
of
mean
like
third person?
Yeah, because your camera's
like,
over the right shoulder.
Yeah, that's just like a byproduct of the game being third person. We could
Okay.
put the camera in the middle, but it feels pretty weird. So yeah, we don't have any plans to address that at the moment. But yeah, we're kind of aware of it.
How about heroes being able to, unowned heroes being able to be used in the practice mode specifically? They could choose whichever hero they want to try it and see if they want to unlock it.
Okay, yeah. So here's a fun fact, right? So we measure everything in the game, and new players that play practice mode churn out of the game. So by giving players large amount of choice, they leave the game quicker than if they just played PvP.
They play
So
less?
that's why they churn out of it. They leave the game faster. So that's why we're very hesitant to make massive changes to practice, because it's already causing people to leave the game quicker. And so yeah, we're the first reason we didn't do it was because we couldn't technically actually do it. Now we could do it once we get time, but we need to be very careful because the practice mode causes people to leave. So that's just me being transparent with you guys. It churns new players away very quickly. Whereas like if they go through the tutorial and then they do PvP or PvAI, they don't churn as quick.
Such a wild statistic, bro. That just blew
I
my
think
mind.
they probably think practice mode is like
The real game?
an AI.
And they're like,
mode.
why am I
They
alone?
think it's AI. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also because like when you give, so there's this thing in like you could observe in like if you ever played Blitz in like League of Legends, I don't know if any of you guys have played it, right? So the thing is the thing that creates the hero fantasy is every few minutes I get to do my ultimate, and then like once in a while I'll do my ultimate really well and like I feel really good about myself, and then I want to chase that next moment. If you can always use a hero's ultimate off cooldown like every single second, you lose the fantasy of the hero, because the thing that makes the hero special is being able to use these abilities infrequently. And if you can always use them frequently, the magic is lost, and that's what causes people to churn.
So turn off ability haste. Got it.
yeah, probably.
So we know we touched on ranked a little bit. Is it still the plan to have like bans in there and like kind of what that's gonna look like?
Yeah, there are bans in the rank mode, in the one that'll ship.
Do you know if it's just like 1-on-1 or just like you guys still haven't decided yet?
I think they've decided, but I don't remember. But I think they're planning to share details soon.
Okay. Have you guys thought any more about Fog of War instead of Fog Walls? Like, is that something that is at all being kicked around?
I don't think Fog of War would ever exist in our game, but I don't think fog walls are the best mechanic. So maybe there's like another thing, but I think Fog of War is something that ruins the experience, to be honest, because like, how would that work with like a Murdoch snipe?
I mean, it's the same way it would work right now. You have to have
That
vision
random
on them to
health
be able
bar
to see
across the
them.
screen.
Well, now I can see people without, even if I don't have, like my ally doesn't have vision, if I can see them running down the lane without their health bar,
That's
I
a
can
good
still snipe
point.
them, right?
Like T2 to T2, like by those
Exactly, yeah.
entrances, you technically can get a super
Like
long
this guy's
snipe
getting
shot.
away from me. He's like, I already know he's low health. I can just snipe him. But if like I did have vision of him, I wouldn't know where he was. I don't think Fog of War is what we're looking for, but I think a cool mechanic might be is like heroes that or items that can lean into creating Fog of War.
Smoke screen.
Just to feed off of that,
Sergeant Smokey.
is there a way to like for you guys to?
What?
I don't understand that one. Is that a dad joke?
He said Smoke Street. Like that would be like the
Yeah,
code
that's a
name
dad
for the
joke.
person. And then Sergeant Smokey would be the hero. Like that's the
Yeah,
putting
I
up a Fog of War.
I just think, what if Fog of War was a gameplay mechanic versus just being a mechanic for everyone? That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get it.
So if that's still something you guys are thinking about, is there something that you guys could iterate like on the map, like a small map change to where like you guys block dual lane from seeing all the way to mid lane, essentially seeing the river buffs? Because I feel like that's a key part of the game as well.
Yeah, I think that should definitely be addressed. I don't know when it's going to be addressed, but I feel like we should probably address it. Because yeah, I don't think you should be able to see all the way down. But I don't know what the plan is just yet. But it's something that we're aware of and we want to fix.
All right. What about reporting after the game?
Yeah, there's a new post-match screen that's planned for ranked, so I think that should be possible.
How about pre-builds? I still get people asking.
That one.
I still get people asking me about that all the time. Pre-builds. Can I save my build? I used to love Paragon. I'm playing this now. Where do I build my stuff and then put it in the
Can
game?
I build my deck before I
Yeah.
go into the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely on the to-do list. It's probably a little further out than any of the upcoming patches, but it's definitely on our list to do. So it's definitely coming.
All right. So with these creators on Twitter and on Discord or whatever, they're creating stuff. If they wanted to submit it for like a possible like potential spray or whatever, where would they submit that?
I don't know just yet, but I want to encourage our community team to do a spray contest so they could submit it there. When and if they
Cool.
decide to do it. But I would like us to do that. So yeah. Also, if they just post it in, I think we have like, I think you could just post it in Discord, but I would encourage people to tweet it and like tag me, because I check all my tweets. So
yeah, so there is a fan art section in the Discord, in the Predecessor Discord, that they can post in there. But as Robbie said, you can also tweet him on any tweet, and he'll probably give it a retweet and give you a little more views on it.
You'll get a lot more exposure, because once one person retweets it, then the whole community starts retweeting it, and it goes from 10 people saw it on one Discord message, so now like 5,000 people saw it, and you can get really good traction.
When it comes to the hero skins, when you're on the hero selection screen, once you lock in, it's not a problem right now. Obviously, there's not too much there, so I could see it like stacking up and covering into hero. Do you guys have like a different, like maybe like a scroll wheel to like see the skins instead of just like it stacking up towards each other? Because I think like steel right now has like 2 rows.
Yeah, I think we thought we would end up reworking the UI for the draft before we got to that point, but we didn't. So like, you might just have to live with that for the moment.
It's a little bit okay.
Yeah, for a little bit, sadly. Sorry. But yeah, I think eventually we'll have a better solution in, and I think someone asked about like buying skins in the hero select, and I think we're also gonna add buying heroes in the draft as well, because you may want to buy a hero in ranked, like, hey, I want to get this hero to counter whatever. So I think we're planning to add that with the ranked update.
All right, first off, I don't like the idea of buying a hero in ranked, because you don't want to take a hero that you haven't even used one time going to play ranked with it. I don't like that idea. In a normal like,
fair. I didn't even think about that.
Hey, we might lock it for ranked, but the main reason why we developed the feature was for skins.
Okay. Yeah, but for so skins, great. But like buying a hero, I think that should be for casuals. I think that you should be able to buy it, because especially if you're picking and then somebody picked Murdoch and my only free hero ADC right now is Murdoch. Okay, well let me buy Twin Blast so I don't have a mirror match, right? In casual match, I like the idea of that. In casual, I just like it for ranked.
What if you played it in a free rotation though?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, what?
That's a
What if they played the hero in a free rotation?
Oh,
So,
I
like,
mean, they could have a couple games, like a whole week of experience, and you don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. Ace, what do you not like about the current map?
Ooh.
Be honest.
Brutally honest.
Hurt their feelings.
I don't like that it hasn't changed.
Let's go.
Okay,
Go.
these are Ace out here. All right. You said your own opinion.
I feel like I
Ace.
speak for everyone, right? I don't like the side lanes that much. Like, I feel like there's something there that could make it really interesting, but I don't know what it is. But I feel like something's missing from those lanes. Like, I mean, the off lane and the duo lane. I don't like the jungle that much either, but I don't know if I don't like the jungle because I've been playing on it for so long, if that makes sense.
Foliage, waterfalls, something. You know,
like that stuff. Like I think I personally just care more about like the like you can
camps,
just give me a
mechanics.
map with, like, yeah, exactly. That's kind of my preference. So, and I also don't like the pits that much. But again, it's like I don't know if I don't like it because I played on it for so long, or I just don't like it. So, and when I say I don't like it, like I still really enjoy playing on the map, but I think we've learned so much since we designed that map that there's like a lot of things that I see. Oh, we could make this change or adjust this thing.
When is the Undertow skin line coming?
Probably in a couple of months, I think.
I got a question as far as internet. What about people with really bad internet connection that get confused for quitters all the time? What solution do we have for those people besides get better internet?
Get better internet.
Yeah, I don't know. call up your internet service provider, I guess. I don't know how to solve that one, unfortunately, because there's no way for us to tell if their internet was bad or they just like pulled the Ethernet cable, or someone, if we did have something like that, what's stopping someone from downloading a software that makes the internet bad so they don't get punishment?
Didn't even know that was a thing. You talking about, imagine lag switching in Predecessor?
Yeah,
Damn, back to
exactly.
2006.
When are we gonna fix the lane minions running away from me?
Oh God, please.
They've been irking me recently, just a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, that sounds like a skill issue.
Oh man, not a skill issue.
That's one of the few things that isn't a skill issue, you know?
I'm right in front of them, please.
Yeah, but why is
That
F6
one's
affected
game
more than everyone else? That's the real issue.
I think I'm the loudest. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Squeaky wheel, but definitely happens a lot for sure.
Yeah, I think it's something that the person who works on that AI is looking into. I don't know if they're looking into it immediately because they're working on something for the new game mode, but I think that's kind of the next priority, along with adding difficulty to AI modes.
That's great.
Difficulties.
Yes,
Nice.
that's huge. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but some people weren't here for it, and they might not be able to go back to watch the YouTube version. Cross progression between PC, Xbox, all that stuff. What are we thoughts on that again? Like time wise?
I'm not sure on the timeline, but basically we're working on it right now and trying to get it done as soon as possible.
Copy
What
that.
about daily quests, like to get some extra amber or something like that?
Yeah, that's quests is something we are working on, have been working on. I think we paused it to work on some other stuff, but definitely coming this year and hopefully sooner rather than later.
You guys have a battle pass or like a season pass you guys plan for? Like maybe a season pass whenever you guys go into the next season or the official first season, essentially.
Nothing planned yet, but there's some cool stuff coming that I think you guys will like.
Are we gonna get another like season at all before full launch, or are we just kind of gonna chill in open beta till full launch?
I think the way we're thinking about seasons is just lining them up with ranked seasons versus how we were doing them before. So like
Okay.
it'd be a ranked season.
How long are you planning on ranked seasons being? Like, is that set yet, or?
I don't think it's set. I think they're still figuring it out. But yeah, I think a ranked season for us probably doesn't, I don't remember, but I don't think, like, I still think we could do another ranked season without having to like fully release the game. I don't think they would coincide. Like, I don't think they have to coincide.
Okay.
Roll
You
Q
talked
win.
earlier.
What was that?
I said
Roll
roll
Q.
Q win.
Oh, yeah,
Or
we
is
don't have
that-
any plans for it at the moment.
Okay, gotcha. Or go ahead, Beardy.
I know Jay Shreds is completely against it. Last time he was on, he talked about that. All right. So earlier you talked about the buffs kind of like being like rotating and changing the meta currently. And then Wendy talked about how with the changing with the map made me think of like HOTS. Like Heroes of the Storm, in a sense of like if we had like this obviously the same map, but like when you place the night map, the cyan buff does this differently, and then the day map, the cyan buff does this differently. Like having something like that might be a little cool as well. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I definitely want to add more variety to the gameplay, but not in a way that like makes the gameplay super random, because I think that could also negatively impact the
Correct.
competitive experience.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think I would prefer to like, hey, here's a new rank season, all the buffs are different, right? And it's just fair for everyone, and then next season, like, hey,
Okay.
these are all the new buffs or something.
When are we gonna be able to roll swap with the jungler?
Oh, please.
I think they plan to add that, but not with this. I don't think it's in this version of ranked, but I can't remember. But it's something that's on our radar.
Can the
that needs
ability
that.
can the ability queue system be disabled? Because there's some times where I'm like, hey man, I am not trying to dash forward anymore. Swear to God. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be disabled. I mean, anything can be disabled, like with a setting, but I don't know if there's plans to disable it. I would have to check. I think the cases we looked at was, for some reason, the time where it was capturing the ability queue was way longer than it should have. So like, it's only supposed to capture 0.25 or something seconds, and also it's supposed to clean the buffer on CC. But in some cases, it wasn't cleaning the buffer on CC, so it's a bug. Whereas if we just disabled it for people, or we gave you the option, no one would ever report that as a bug. They would just turn it off, and we'd never kind of figure out what the issue is. So
True.
I think that is a bug, and I can't remember which patch it's fixed in. It might have already been fixed, or it's going into one of these patches and we didn't report it. I can't remember.
Oh, this is a good one. Any chance, like any thoughts to add options to replace Flash? Like,
Oh, I definitely want
teleport to towers, etc.
Yeah, I think it'd be dope. Look, I was talking about, and this is kind of crazy, but since you asked me about crazy things that we may want to try, we haven't tried this yet. But do you guys play Call of Duty, like Warzone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
have.
so I'll describe it for the people that haven't, but at least F6 might know what I'm talking about, and Pinzo. You know, you get these deployable balloons, right? That you deploy, and then you can zip up, and then you can like.
Yes.
fly everywhere.
You're scaring me, bro.
So you deploy this thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like this balloon now appears in the sky, and you can zip up the balloon. What if
Just
you could do that in a MOBA?
I think
So
I'm all
everybody
for it.
gets Muriel ult?
It's
I'm
not
all for
Muriel-
it.
It's not Muriel ult, but like kind of, right? Like, because you could fly anywhere you want to, but like you could also get shot down. People will also shoot you. With Muriel ult, you can't really shoot people, right? It's so
Right.
she's so fast that you can't stop her. But like, what if you could shoot people as they're flying down, right? And like you're always floating, right? So if you could never attack until you touch the ground, and there's no way to speed yourself up touching the ground, you'd have to be quite strategic about it. I'm not saying we do this,
Bruh,
but
if
since
I
Pinzo
see
asked about
Pinzo
crazy stuff-
Mary Poppins himself from across the map,
it's kind of like just like a more advanced Galaxy Greaves, right? But just being able to control yourself a little bit more. So I don't see why not, even if it's just an item. Like
I'm just imagining Sockcap freaking Richter Pole compilation when somebody tries to use the blue, like, oh, I got you, thank you.
Yeah, I don't
That'd
know
be
if it would be
interesting.
healthy, but it's something I thought would be cool to try at least.
it'd
Yeah.
be cool in the game mode, just run it, right? It's like one of those,
Yeah.
just put in the game mode. Sure, why not?
Would you guys ever add like a second like summoner spell slot so you could have Flash +1?
I don't know, but I think it would depend on what we end up doing with the crest slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be cool to add different options. The problem with like trying to think of what people would take instead of Flash, like to your first question, is like, is everyone
I
just
would
gonna end up
teleport.
picking Flash anyways?
Teleport to towers is the
Yeah.
like the one thing I think that off the top of my head that people would take. Or if you added a purification is another one that I think people would take.
Or like something like an ignite, kind of increase your early game pressure.
I think teleport would be cool. But yeah, it's something I definitely would want to add. Like, I think teleport might be a little too. Like, would people take teleport on the current map with the size?
I think offlaners would. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone else would.
Yeah. Yeah, offlaners teleporting to
Very limited.
Fangtooth, whatever.
You could rotate to Fang and TP back,
Yeah.
or you can push
Yep.
a wave TP over, right? Like, I think people would take that.
Ah,
I think-
what we saw F6 gliding as a Zarus.
What's the distance we're talking about on
Dude,
this air
I'm
balloon?
talking about like you could go from end of map to end of map. Like
my dude's trying to Mary Poppins the entire, like from
So
solo
it's
to
slow-
duo,
it's
low
slow
key.
teleport.
You're gonna get Duo Land's gonna get solo ganked by the Soul Lander by a Mary Poppins
Yeah.
coming over. So it's like, okay, well, sweet. Now they're buffed up Grux is over here because he's been feeding off of the offlaner. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. All right.
I mean, my dual lane's always losing, and I'm trying to help them, but
Jesus,
I can't
bro.
rotate because of my minion wave. So I'm all about it. So
I can, bro. All right, I'm gonna ask this last one, and then we'll start doing the
No.
outros.
no.
Why?
Sorry, because we're almost. I was trying to say it, but whole conversation was flowing. We're at the 2 hour mark. I know that, but Robbie, I do want to ask you, since this is kind of an outro, but not really. We talked about before Predecessor. We talked about all the way up to open beta. We talked about current game. Where are you seeing this game? You know, we've been growing. Again, Windu's got 2 kids since the start of this project, right? Yeah, like we've been growing and stuff like that. Where do you see, like, where is your vision at? Like, can you kind of show us like what you're thinking of, like not necessarily 5 years from now, but what are you like looking forward to as Predecessor? Because we asked you. I remember there was that one when PTO announced that they were shutting down. You were in chat and we asked you directly, hey, what about Predecessor? Because people were freaking out, like, hey, Predecessor is going to close down too, right? And here we are. We got 1 million accounts created, stuff like that. Like stuff like positive things are happening. Where do you see Ometa Studios, you know, in the future here, and Predecessor and the growth of it? Like, what are you as the CEO, you're pushing for the future? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm really excited for a bunch of things. I think this year is going to be super awesome for everyone that plays Predecessor. You know, there's the new game mode, there's new heroes, there's some really cool new heroes towards the end of this year that are coming out. There's ranked modes, and I think, you know, we're just trying to tick off a lot of these boxes where they're kind of like table stakes, right? If you want to be taken as a serious game, not just a MOBA, you kind of need to have some of these things, right? If you're competing in a competitive genre, kind of need to have ranked mode, right? And so we're just looking forward to ticking off some of these things. We also have a bunch of cool stuff, like with the Undertow event, or the skin line, sorry, that we'll have like a bunch of other stuff that's coming out with that. And so I'm really excited to see what that does to the game, how people react to it. And I think this year is going to be extremely exciting. You know, we're ramping up the team more. The game's growing, the company's growing. So I think it's really exciting if you're a Predecessor player. And yeah, I kind of like, whenever a patch comes out, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till they see the next patch and the next patch and the next patch. But I'm really excited for the patch. I guess not this one coming on Tuesday, but the one in 3 weeks from then, 18. I'm really excited for you guys to see that patch, hear all your feedback, and then just keep delivering kind of patch after patch, and just kind of try not to get too caught up in like a year from now, and just making sure that we're executing like day by day, because all of that kind of adds up, right? We started with a pretty rough product, but we learned day by day, we improved and improved and improved. And so we kind of just keep that same mentality of like, hey, let's just take one step forward at a time, and kind of, you know, you look back and you've taken like 20 steps. And so that's kind of how we think about it. But yeah, super excited. I think it's extremely positive. I know a lot of people are worried, or, you know, what happened with the other games, but, you know, we're in a very different position where the game is growing, it's doing extremely well, way beyond, you know, our wildest expectations. So we can all kind of be really, really happy about that. And yeah, look forward to all the cool stuff that's going to be coming in the next few patches.
Awesome. Love to hear it. All right. Now, Windu, you can do what you're doing. Sorry.
Oh no, we're chill, bro. I already sent the person a DM. I'm like, hey, I'll get that answer for you from Robbie in the DMs. Just hit me up on Discord. I don't like ruining the flow. So since we've been here for 2 hours, and again, Robbie, you are nuts. Like, it's 1 a.m. officially now. This is Mr. Picky.
Yeah.
It's 1 a.m. officially. You've been up here for a while. Let's do our outros. Let's go ahead and tell people what you got going on, and a little bit of words of wisdom for the community, and we'll do it in the same exact order that we introduced ourselves. Go ahead, Senor Robbie.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, firstly, thank you guys for having me on the Predcast. It's always a pleasure. Always enjoy talking about, I mean, I could talk about Predecessor 24/7, so really appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you to everyone in the community for all the support. It's been like, you know, definitely a dream come true for a lot of us at the studio. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to follow me personally, my Twitter is RGSAce, and as Bid had said, and when you mentioned, you know, if you have art or anything you want to tweet, just tweet it out to me. I'm always happy to kind of retweet, share it with the wider community, and I do share a lot of it internally as well, so that the team can see it for those that aren't on Twitter. So yeah, really appreciate you guys and everyone in the community for all the support. And you know, we always listen to the feedback. We know people have good opinions, negative opinions, whatever it may be, but we always listen to all the feedback, good and bad, and we try to improve the product in the best way we can.
The GOAT.
Appreciate you, bro.
We're still waiting on Robbie's 24-hour stream to answer our questions.
Did you say
but yeah,
you do a 24-hour stream when Ranked comes out?
Yeah, it's gonna be 48 hours actually.
Oh, nice.
No shot.
Sleeping
What do you
doesn't
mean,
count.
F6 is gonna
He's
gain
gonna-
like
he's gonna-
700 MMR in the first 24 hours and then lose 1200 in the next 24 hours.
He's gonna after 48 hours, he's gonna be bronze. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's gonna be negative
He's gonna be
600
melted,
total
bro.
in the 48 hours.
See, Ace, I'm gonna be bronze whether it's 24 or 48 hours. Okay. But yeah, I'm F6. You can find me over on Twitch. I stream pretty much every day at weird times, just depending on my sleep schedule. But I also cast over at the PCC. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a competitive tournament. If you guys missed PCC 7, the videos are going out on YouTube later this week throughout the stages, so you guys can catch up on all the games. See Pinzo get solo boloed. And then if you guys get ready for PCC 8, it's actually going to be bigger than 7. We have a lot planned out, so you guys don't want to miss it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm Pinzo. I did not get solo boloed in the PCC. I'm pretty sure we won every 2v2 that we had in duo lane. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, yeah, I stream. I upload YouTube videos every day. I do play in PCC. I don't know what the team is going to be this next time, but yeah. So you guys can catch me there. You guys can catch me at Pinzo on all my socials, that kind of stuff.
All right. Real quick shout out to the PCC team for picking up Ego. I know he was doing some tournament stuff for there with PTO, and then when PTO shut down, you guys picked him up. So that's like a nice little, hey, PTO team, come over and look at us. You know, our community, come look at us. We got something. We got a trusted person in Ego. Ego's a great guy, so I love seeing that. As for myself, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This last Monday, Tuesday, I took off because work in real life kicked my butt this last week. So but I'll be back at it tomorrow, refreshed, ready to go. I say that, I'm wrong. No, tomorrow's draft. Sorry, I'm a sports guy. So no stream tomorrow either because I'm watching the draft. But I'll be back next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right, we'll be back at it. And then we got another guest. I've been pushing this guest off on accident. We got a guest coming. We're going to be talking console players and their viewpoints. So Robbie, you're going to enjoy watching that one because they're going to be talking about their console player and how it plays, how it feels for them. We got that coming on next Predcast. That one's going to be when we get the next patch. So Robbie, that date is when?
I believe it's Tuesday or Thursday, but yeah, we'll confirm. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. I think we.
All right.
We'll find out soon.
Other than that, we'll find out soon. Exactly. Other than that, though, I appreciate everyone, single one of you, coming here, hanging out, and being in chat with us. And Robbie, I appreciate you. I know it's late, but you are always willing to do this with us when your schedule aligns. So I can't wait for the next one.
Thank you, guys.
Of course. And then as far as I go, just be on the lookout for YouTube videos because I'm going to be posting more of the how-to with a specific character. Try to expand a little bit on that series. And as far as for the community, like, guys, honestly, you guys have been awesome. Like as far as the feedback that we get as creators, as far as, you know, the feedback that we hear behind the scenes from the devs and stuff like that, like, the community is awesome, but they're definitely working on things. So try to push them a little bit, try to push the studio a little bit to kind of keep them on their toes, but also be like, hey, you know what? They're real people too, you know, song and dance sort of vibe. But guys, if you guys made it this far, regardless of where you're watching, whether it be on Twitch, on YouTube, if you're watching a clip anywhere, let's do this. Type out #myCEO in the chat. Let's bring that one back.
Yeah.
#myCEO if you made it this far into the broadcast. And again, guys, these are live streamed at the Bearded Wolverines Twitch channel, and then they're going to be uploaded on YouTube after the fact on my YouTube. So definitely support on both if possible. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to catch everything, but we will catch you all on the next one, homies. Peace.
Peace.